All right, good morning. We're going to get started. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes? Awesome. Welcome to our Memorial Day ceremony. I'd like to welcome Representative Pat Kearney, Registered Probate Mac McDonough, Marshfield Select Board Eric Kelly, Steve Darcy, and Trish Simpson. I'd like to welcome our Town Administrator Peter Morin, and most importantly, our residents and our veterans. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Karen Paulette. I am the Director of Marshfield Veteran Services. I am a retired Army Master Sergeant, and I have had the honor of serving you here in Marshfield for the past 12 years. I am joined by Lisa Potts, our Assistant Director, who has dedicated 13 years of her life to veteran services, with 4 of those being here in Marshfield. Together, we work hard to help every veteran who walks through our door, and we work even harder to help those who have not found us yet. Honoring our veterans on Memorial Day is important, but is certainly not enough. The sacrifices our veterans have made are everlasting, and the pain is deeply felt by the families left behind. Many of our fallen were young. They had never had a chance to experience life. They had only experienced war. For many families, this is their first Memorial Day without their veteran. We must commit to honor their service and carry on their legacy. We must assure their grieving families that we always remember their loved ones, our veterans. Many of our combat veterans were lucky enough to make it back home. But life is hard and not easy on anyone. They live with terrible memories of war, lost comrades, personal injuries and illnesses. And we know this because we see it every day right here. We hold their hands in their darkest hour and hug their families while telling them, we got them, because we know we also have you, our residents, supporting our veterans, supporting us and the families left behind. So today we honor our fallen veterans together as a community. The Memorial Street signs you see around town remind us of our veterans' personal sacrifices, while ensuring their names and legacies live on. Lisa and I are honored to take care of Marshfield veterans and families, and we know the town of Marshfield will never forget. At this time, please place our flag presented by Jennifer Bruno for the playing of our national anthem, performed by the Marshfield High School Band. I will call present arms to those who should salute, while everyone else, please remove your hat and place your hand over your heart. Groups, present arms. Reverend Andrew Williams from North Community Church. Please stay standing.
Please join me in a spirit of prayer or reflection. Loving God, help us to recognize the grief and the needs in our midst. Help us to respond to heavy hearts and brokenness with your spirit of love and care. Help us to be there for all those for whom today is heavy. Help us to further learn from the example of those we remember today. Help us to learn from their conviction and their dedication to doing what they believe is needed. And help us all, every single one of us, recommit ourselves to the work of peace so that there will be fewer people to remember on Memorial Day in the future. Help us to commit our lives to doing good and just work for all those who need an advocate. In your many names we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Williams. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Good morning, Marshfield.
Morning.
It is now our pleasure to introduce to you our Grand Marshal of this year's Memorial Day Parade, retired Army Major Larry Sweeney. Major Larry Sweeney retired from the Massachusetts Army National Guard after serving for 23 years. This included a 15-month mobilization and deployment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, where he served as the company commander of an air traffic services company. Larry was awarded the Bronze Star Medal for meritorious service in the Iraq Campaign Medal and the Army Aviator Badge. He has lived in Marshfield for 25 years with his wife Michelle, where they have raised their daughters Elizabeth and Kelsey. Larry serves as a trustee at the Daniel Webster Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 8345 here in Marshfield, and is a member of the town's Revolutionary War Monument Committee. Come on up, Larry.
Thank you. It is an honor to be selected as the Grand Marshal for today's parade. I would like to commend the Town Veteran Services Office for all their hard work in organizing such a successful Memorial Day observation and parade. I would like to thank my wife Michelle and daughters Elizabeth and Kelsey for their love and support. I'd like to recognize my comrades at the Veterans of Foreign Wars and VFW Auxiliary, along with the other veteran service organizations in town, for the work they do to support local veterans and to promote patriotism. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the members of the community who came out today to honor the memories of our fallen heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. At this time, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the members of our Board of Trustees for Veterans of Memorials, Chairman Ed Timlin, Josh Summers, Jamie Curran, Heather White, and Janine Vaughn. Carmine Bruno is the caretaker of our Veterans Memorial Park and our Honor Roll Park, so please give them a very warm welcome. Thank you. We are also honored to have the following representatives from our Marshfield Veterans Organizations: Commander of the DAV, Chapter 35, Dennis McGowan; the DAV Auxiliary Unit, Chapter 35, Sheila McGowan; Commander, American Legion Post 88, Barney Dowd; Commander, VFW Post 8345, Pat Fleming; President of the Daniel Webster VFW Auxiliary, Mary Ann Bursaw; Commander, Marshfield Veterans Association, Bob Griffin; and Commander of the AMVETS Post 1996, Jim Bennett. Thank you, Commanders. At this time, I would like to welcome State Representative Patrick Kearney.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. It's a solemn honor to join you here in Marshfield on this Memorial Day. And although we just had an amazing parade and everyone seems to be happy and beautiful blue skies, today is not a day of celebration, but a day of remembrance. Across our country, communities gather, as we do now, to pause, reflect, and pay tribute to the men and women of our armed services who gave their lives in service to our nation. Their courage, carried them into harm's way, and their sacrifice secured the freedoms that we enjoy every day. For me, both as a state rep and a Navy veteran, this day holds deep meaning. I think of the friends and fellow service members who did not return. I think of the families here on the South Shore who carry the weight of that loss every day. Marshfield is a community that's rooted in service. We see it in our local heroes that have joined us here today, in the names etched on our monuments and street signs, and the quiet strength of our Gold Star families who know the true cost of that freedom. Today's not about politics, but it's a day that's not really about recognition. It's an honoring of those who gave everything, who gave up their tomorrows, and made sure that their sacrifice, we need to make sure that their sacrifice is never forgotten. We honor them by saying their names, by telling their stories, and by living lives that reflect the values that they died defending: duty, courage, strength, and service to our country. We don't just honor them with ceremonies, but by how we choose to live our lives every day. Let's remember them by upholding the principles that they fought for, by standing up for what's right, by serving our communities, and by taking care of our families and the families that they left behind. Let us renew our promise not just to remember their sacrifice today, but to carry it with us always in our decisions, in our leadership, and in our everyday lives. Thank you for having me here today. God bless the fallen heroes that aren't with us. God bless Marshfield. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Benny. At this time, we would like to welcome Marshfield Select Board Chair Eric Kelly.
Good morning to all my fellow townspeople. On this day of May 26, 2025, we have come here to honor those who have chosen to serve this great country of ours, knowing that they may pay the ultimate sacrifice. It is our duty as citizens now and in the future to make sure that their sacrifice is recognized and will not be forgotten. As we are here today to honor those who have sacrificed, there are many of our fine citizens who take this day for granted. No one should take this day for granted of the ultimate sacrifice that our brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, friends, and neighbors have made, who proudly served under our flag to protect our constitutional values that lay the foundation of our great nation. It is my belief that educating our youth on the birth of our nation and the sacrifices that are made to this day and beyond will help ensure that this day will be forever honored. To those of you who have served and to those families out there who lost a loved one serving our great country, we owe you a debt of gratitude that no one could ever put a price tag on. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Eric. Now it is our great pleasure to introduce our next guest and friend, retired Lieutenant Colonel Lorraine Murrin. Lorraine is a retired Lieutenant Colonel in the Army Nurse Corps with 21 years of active duty service. She embarked on her military career in 1988 after earning her bachelor's degree in nursing from Salve Regina University in Newport, Rhode Island, and later a master's degree as an acute care nurse practitioner from Northeastern University. Lieutenant Colonel Murrin has had many rewarding assignments, both domestically and overseas, in Korea and Germany. She flew many missions throughout the European theater, transporting patients to definitive care, but spent the majority of her career in the intensive care arena. Along with her husband, retired Command Sergeant Major James Murrin, they happily call Marshfield their permanent home. Please welcome Lorraine.
Thank you, Karen and Lisa. Good morning to our distinguished guests, fellow veterans, poppies, and the wonderful citizens of Marshfield and the surrounding communities. It is certainly my privilege to be here today as we honor and remember the military men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice while serving our great nation. When Karen asked me as a veteran to share what this day means to me, I thought, how could I possibly find the right words to capture what this day represents? Then I thought, just keep it simple and speak to what you know. I am a veteran and the spouse of a veteran. Together, my husband and I have served a total of 60 years in uniform. As a retired Army nurse, I would like to tell you about two fellow Army nurses who have touched my life. Today, I hope you will join me in honoring their service and sacrifice. Early in my Army career, I was stationed at Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center in Denver, Colorado. In the hallway prior to entering the intensive care unit where I worked was a photograph of a young Army nurse, probably about my age at the time. She wears a crisp white uniform and cap, Army Nurse Corps insignia and rank on her collars, and an American flag in the background. She has a bright, beautiful smile with her whole life ahead of her. Her name is First Lieutenant Sharon Lane. She worked in the same ICU as I did only 25 years earlier. She was from Canton, Ohio, and graduated nursing school in 1965. Her first duty assignment was Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center, and from there she deployed to Vietnam. On June 6, 1969, she was mortally wounded when a rocket hit her place of work, the 312th Evacuation Hospital. She had been in country less than 2 months. First Lieutenant Lane was the only nurse killed by enemy fire during the Vietnam War. I never knew First Lieutenant Lane, but I am forever connected to her as an Army nurse. Fast forward to 2007, later in my military career, let me tell you about Captain Maria Ortiz. She was born in Camden, New Jersey, but raised in Puerto Rico. Her career in Army medicine began in 1991 when she enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve. In 1999, she earned her bachelor's degree in nursing from the University of Puerto Rico and subsequently was commissioned in the Army Nurse Corps. Captain Ortiz and I both worked together at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, Washington, D.C. Like Lieutenant Lane, she had the most beautiful smile and was a remarkable and dedicated nurse and officer. In support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Captain Ortiz deployed with the 28th Combat Support Hospital to the Green Zone in Baghdad, Iraq. On July 10, 2007, Captain Ortiz was returning to her barracks when she was killed by shrapnel from a mortar attack. She was the first nurse since First Lieutenant Lane to be killed in combat. Like myself, Captain Ortiz did not know First Lieutenant Lane, but the three of us are forever connected as Army nurses. Fast forward with me again to 2009 when I retired from my military service, but my husband stayed on active duty. For 7 more years and 3 more assignments, I was now the military spouse. Our final assignment found us in Kaiserslautern, Germany. Our home there was along the flight path of Ramstein Air Force Base. One morning in November, I watched from my dining room as the C-17 carrying my husband and the soldiers of the 7th Mission Support Command flew overhead en route to Senegal, Africa, in support of Operation United Assistance, the Ebola epidemic in West Africa. Although not a combat deployment, the circumstances were dangerous. It was an open-ended deployment with no return date on their orders. It's hard to describe how I felt that day, but I can tell you it was a feeling I had never experienced before. It was then I realized that being a military spouse is just as challenging as being the active duty service member. I'm a grateful spouse whose husband returned safely from that deployment. So on Memorial Day, I feel it is equally important to honor the family members whose loved ones did not return. Those on the home front who were forever changed and left to pick up the pieces and carry on, raising families, paying bills, living life, often with little support. There is a group of women here among us today, the Marshfield Poppies. They are the spouses of our veterans, both living and deceased. Some lost their husbands in combat, while others are caring for them as they deal with the consequences of their military service. They meet weekly for coffee and snacks, but more important, they offer support, friendship, kindness, and lots of humor to each other and our community. If you happen upon a woman wearing a red poppy scarf, they're all right over there, I challenge you to say hello and maybe ask them about themselves. Their stories are remarkable. From the Revolutionary War to Iraq and Afghanistan, we are indebted to all those who died in service to our country. For me, I cannot honor those who served without including the spouses. I also honor every person here today who has shown up to be together as a community to recognize the magnitude of this day. I hope you go today and enjoy your families and our beautiful seaside town. Perhaps as you leave this ceremony, you could softly say the names of First Lieutenant Sharon Lane and Captain Maria Ortiz, or maybe even someone personal to you, in silent gratitude for giving their lives in support of something greater than themselves. We are their future, the future they never got to experience. Maybe if we fill our lives with kindness, gratitude, and generosity, we in some small way commemorate their ultimate sacrifice. Rest in peace, Sharon and Maria. We honor and remember you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. In Veteran Services, Lisa and I are so blessed to have the opportunity to meet so many people in our town, such as Lorraine and our next speaker, Barbie Rugg. Many of you may know Barbie from her Social Day program at our senior center, but what many people may not know is Barbie is a Gold Star spouse of her veteran, Paul Rugg. We were by Barbie's side as she navigated veteran benefits for her husband and then ultimately for herself. She is a champion in our hearts, and we are honored to know her. Please welcome Barbie Rugg.
It's okay. No. I know what I want to say. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak to you about my veteran. Paul A. Rugg was the most unforgettable person or probably you would ever meet. He grew up in Quincy, was a Quincy boy in the Marymount neighborhood. He graduated from Quincy High School and went to Quincy Junior High. He loved Quincy. He was 20 years old and he had a low draft number, so he decided to enlist. Paul went to Fort Dix, Fort Polk, and then to Fort Benning, where he prepared for Vietnam. I think it was a really hard thing for him to do. He was a really family-oriented guy. He used to brag about being the oldest of 41 grandchildren. True story. Big family. Paul did what he had to do, and he came home. Paul he would say he had a great life. He was a veteran, and he loved veterans. He always stopped to thank somebody for their service when he saw them in uniform. He always had a donation we had poppies all over our house that he would say thank you. Paul Rugg passed away on February 15, 2023. His spirit lingers still. I have a lot more to say, but all I can say is I am so thankful. I was blessed to have him, to be his wife, and we are blessed to have the Veteran Services here. When Paul was in the throes of his disease, and it was just about the last time we took our trip to the Veterans Hospital in JP, I forgot Paul's wallet on the hassock in our house, and I got there and he didn't have his ID. I called Lisa and Karen, and the two of them went down and broke into our house, took a picture of his ID, and he got to see the doctor that day. To all you veterans, I thank you for your service. For all your veterans' wives, I thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbie. I would like now to ask Marshfield student Alyssa Budd to come up and read In Flanders Field.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Thank you, Alyssa. We have one more special guest who would like to say a few words, a newly promoted Army second lieutenant who flew all the way from Germany to be here and to see his family, but really to be here. He is the youngest son of our Assistant Director, Lisa Potts, so please welcome Second Lieutenant Hayden Potts.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For those who do not know me, I am First Lieutenant Hayden Potts, the youngest of Lisa Potts, and currently active duty over in Grafenberg, Germany. Today I would like to take the time out of your day to stand with us in recognition and honor all those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our great nation. Before that, I would like to take a moment and recognize the friends and families of those that did not return home. For the spouses, we are humbled by your sacrifices, as we know that they are great. And we commend the demonstrations of courage and strength that you have no doubt shown through the most difficult of times. Thank you for everything you do and everything you have given and continue to give this great nation. As we observe Memorial Day, we do more than simply carry on a tradition dating back to 1866, the end of the Civil War, when this holiday began. We also fulfill a commitment to some very special people from our communities. Who were these individuals that we pause and honor and praise? They were ordinary human beings, just like us. But what they accomplished was extraordinary. They answered to the call of duty, and thereby given us today, tomorrow, and all tomorrows to come in our future. Throughout America's history, from the patriots who fired the first shots in the Revolution, to the forces deployed around the world today, America has been fortunate to rely on citizens who willingly serve, fight, and die for their country. It is not for money or medals, for glory or recognition, that such heroes step forward. It is to act out their patriotism based on the ideals on which this country was founded: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. So on this Memorial Day, we come face to face with the cost of human lives, of all the battles that have brought us here to this moment. Each one who faced the enemy down a rifle barrel, who endured as a prisoner of war, or stood guard, fighting loneliness and fear. They gave us this precious day and all the days in our future. This very day is a reminder that this nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave. I thank every one of you for joining us today for this tribute. I hope you keep our military men and women in the sacrifices they make close to your heart today and throughout the rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayden. We will now read the names of Marshfield service members who laid down their lives in service to our country, followed by a 21 gun salute and taps. I will call present arms to those who should salute, and for everyone else, please remove your hats and place your hand over your heart.
World War II, Martin L. Baker, Raymond E. Bourne, Thomas E. Johnson, Burton Peterson, Richard N. Peterson, Norman H. Randall, Walton K. Rogers, Wilford Young, Jr. Korea, Alfred Lopes, Jr., Ronald R. Ferris, Mark A. Erickson. Vietnam, John A. Berrio, William A. Cogshaw, Ronald P. Daly, James W. Mailer, Richard Olson, Edward T. Egan.
Groups, present arms. Order arms. You may take your seats. In closing, we owe many thanks to many people to make this happen. We are a party of two, and let me tell you, we cannot do this without the help of many of our veterans in our town's offices. So we'd like to thank Jimmy Kent and our DPW. They place the flags every year up on Route 139. Brian McPhee, Joe Klein, Corporate Sound Inc. in Attleboro for our sound system every year. We appreciate that, Joe. Jimmy and Marshfield High School Band with the director Dave Kaminsky, with buglers Timothy Moriarty and Finley Turner. I'd like to thank our Graves officer, Ed Timlin, who does a lot of running around this time of year, making sure our cemeteries are coordinated and flags are placed. I'd like to thank our ever faithful color guard provided by the DAV and the rifle squad provided by the VFW. Special thanks to our police and our fire and our DPW for always ensuring our safety of our veterans and our residents on this day and every day. We thank each of you, our residents, who took the time to attend today's parade and ceremony. And we will now end the ceremony with God Bless America, sung by Alyssa Budd, Vivian Henderson, and Nate Beauchamp.
Storm clouds gather far across the sea. Let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer, oh prayer. God bless America. This is the land I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
All right. They were wonderful. We hope that today's ceremony will keep the memories of our departed comrades alive in your hearts and minds. The DAV is hosting lunch for all participants of the parade and ceremony. Their address is 108 Dyke Road, if you've never been. And this concludes our ceremony, and we thank you all very much for coming. Thank you. Enjoy your day.